Hello my friends, this month's collaboration is all about Italian food and I am joining 15 other wonderful creators on YouTube to bring you some wonderful dishes. Too many of you to mention here, so I will link your channels in the description below the video. So I am doing bracciole, which is a rolled up stuffed beef cooked in a tomato sauce. I'm using 2 slices of beef scallop, it said. But you can use other cuts. You can use flank steak, you can use topside, sliced off a roasting joint. But whatever you use, it needs to be flattened out. And this does 2 things. It obviously makes a bigger surface for us to roll up, and it also tenderizes the meat too. Once that meat's been flattened out to a decent enough size, I'm going to cut it in 2. What I'll end up doing is making 4 of these bracciole. So I'll cut this in 2 and I'll do the same with the next piece of meat as well. Put it to one side and do the other slice. Then I'm going to take, in my case, a half a teaspoon of garlic paste, but I would say a whole clove of garlic. I would use half a clove of garlic for each slice, finely minced, and spread over the meat. Then I'm going to take a slice of delicious prosciutto and place it over each slice of meat. Now you don't have to be too fancy with this because it's going to be rolled up anyway, so just make sure it's not overlapping, fits on, it doesn't matter how it looks really. And then I'm going to sprinkle over some freshly grated pecorino cheese. Now there's a whole wealth of things you can put into a bracciole. Some are quite fancy. I'm just making mine very simple, and here I'm going to add some chopped up fresh parsley, then finally I'm going to place a leaf of a basil leaf on each piece. And if you know me, you know I love anchovies, so I'm going to add a slice of anchovy to each of the basil leaves, or basil as the Americans say. And now it's time to roll the whole thing up. So carefully roll them up, trying to keep everything on the beef. And roll it up nice and tight. Now then, what you need is a toothpick. I don't have any toothpicks, so I'm using barbecue skewers, and this one is, I think it's a tad too long. I'll have to shorten it a bit. Doesn't matter, does the same job. Keeps everything nice and neat and tidy, and it won't fall apart when you cook it. So roll up the next one. Tuck everything in. Make it nice and tight. And again, place a skewer or preferably a toothpick to hold it all together. You could even tie it with a bit of butcher's string, that would work as well. And that's it. I'm going to do the same with the other piece of meat, and they'll be ready for cooking. So in a frying pan, I'm going to put around about a tablespoon of olive oil, and on a medium heat I'm going to place my bracciole. Now the idea here is not to cook them all the way through, is just to brown them on the outside. I'll just flip them over. We want all the sides to be nicely coloured, giving it plenty of flavour. That's it. Once they're browned all over, we can put them to one side. Put the same pan back on the heat, and I'm going to now make a very simple tomato sauce to go with it. So add in one finely, very finely chopped onion. Just mix it around in that olive oil and those lovely beef juices for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add a good pinch of salt and a good sprinkling of freshly crushed black pepper. After a few minutes, I'm going to add 250 milliliters of passata, just what I had left in the jar. And then I'm going to rinse out that jar with 250 milliliters of beef stock. And it's just a case of cooking this tomato sauce until it's nice and bubbling. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of sugar just to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes. Then I'm going to add my braciole to the sauce. And of course, don't forget those juices. After this, I am going to cook it on a low heat with a lid on top for around, it depends on your meat, between an hour and a half to 2 hours. And after this time, I think mine was about an hour and a quarter. It should look like this, nice and reduced, but packed full of flavour. That meat should be nice and tender now, so it's time to put it to one side, and I'm going to cook some fresh tagliatelle in obviously hot boiling water with plenty of salt. It'll only take a few minutes. As I say, it was fresh pasta, so it doesn't take long to cook. And then it's time to dish up. So into a nice large bowl, I'm going to put my tagliatelle. Place a couple of braciole. And then pour over some of that wonderful tomato sauce. And finally, I'm going to sprinkle over some freshly chopped parsley and a little bit of pecorino cheese, and the dish is done. Braciole, a very comforting, delicious Italian dish. I'd like to thank all my fellow creators for joining in with this collaboration. If anyone likes this video, please consider subscribing, and please hit that notification bell so you will be notified of any videos that I upload in future. So take care, peace, love, and I'll see you all very soon.